Okay, let's talk about one of the most annoying things about using AI today. You spend forever getting it up to speed on a project, you feel like you finally got it dialed in, and then, the next day, it's forgotten absolutely everything. Well, a new update from Google is here to fix that AI amnesia. And trust me, if you're tired of starting from scratch every single time, you're going to want to see this.
You know the feeling, right? You pour an hour into a chat, you're uploading documents, you're tweaking prompts, getting the AI perfectly trained on your project. You come back the next day, start a new chat, and poof, it's a blank slate. Complete amnesia. All that precious context is just gone, and you are right back at square one. It's not just inefficient, it's honestly infuriating.
And this really shows the problem perfectly. Over here on the left, you've got the standard messy brain AI. It just resets every single time. It's nothing but a string of disconnected chats that completely forgets what your goals are. But on the right, that's what we're after. An organized brain that actually remembers your project's context, keeps all your files in one central place, and, crucially, follows your custom instructions. The knowledge actually sticks around.
So the big question is, how do we get that organized brain? Well, Google's answer is a new feature called Gemini Notebooks. And yeah, they're designed specifically to be the fix for this whole forgetful AI problem.
And here's the thing you really need to get. A Gemini notebook is so much more than just a folder. Think of it as a living, breathing workspace for your project. All your chats, your documents, your custom rules, they all live together in one persistent spot. What this does is create a memory, a personal knowledge hub, so the AI knows exactly what you're working on the moment you open that notebook. You know, the source material had the perfect analogy for this. Using a standard AI is like briefing a brand new hire every single morning. It's exhausting. But using Gemini with notebooks, that's like working with a teammate who's been on your project for a month. They already have the context, they know the goals, and the work is just, on a whole other level. Okay, so let's put on our project manager hats for a second. How do you actually set this up? How do you turn your AI from that clueless new hire into that seasoned teammate? Let's walk through building out your project's command center. It's easier than you think. It's really just a simple three-step process. First, you create a new notebook right from the side panel. Second, you start loading it up with all your sources. We're talking PDFs, websites, you can even pull in past chats. And third, and this is the real game changer, you set custom instructions. You can literally tell it, act as a market researcher. Or for this project, the client prefers a formal tone. And that rule will stick for every single interaction you have in that notebook. It's a huge time saver. Now, this is where things get really, really interesting, because this update isn't just about one tool. It's about how it connects two powerful but totally distinct Google AIs. This, my friends, is the wow moment, the deep automatic sync between Gemini and NotebookLM. And when they say sync, they actually mean it. It's bidirectional and it's automatic. You add a research paper in Gemini, and it instantly, and I mean instantly, appears in NotebookLM. No downloading, no re-uploading, no copy-pasting. The two apps are now working from a single shared brain, your notebook.
So what does this actually look like in your day-to-day workflow? Well, think of it this way. NotebookLM is your focused expert researcher. It is amazing for deep document analysis, and it only uses the sources you provided, which is crucial because that means no hallucinations, no making stuff up. Gemini, on the other hand, is your flexible, creative partner. It can brainstorm, pull from the live web, and draft new content. Because they now share that same brain, your notebook, you get the best of both worlds, and it's totally seamless.
All right, so we've covered the what and the how. Now let's get to the most important part, the why. Let's look at a few real-world examples of how this new workflow actually plays out and how you might use it.
Okay, for a student, this is amazing. You could upload your entire semester's worth of readings, lecture notes, the syllabus, everything. Then you use NotebookLM's specialized tools to create an audio overview you can listen to before an exam. And then you pop over to Gemini to draft an essay outline, all pulling from that same consistent source of truth.
Now for researchers, this is huge. You can create a living notebook for an evolving topic. As new papers are published, you just drop them in. Then you can ask these incredibly powerful questions like, based on these new sources I just added, what has changed in this field? And because NotebookLM is grounded in your documents, you get reliable answers you can actually trust.
And for professionals out there managing multiple projects, you can create a dedicated notebook for each client. Load it up with their style guides, meeting notes, creative briefs. Use those custom instructions to lock in the correct tone of voice. Now, every single time you open that notebook, the AI is already up to speed. No more re-explaining the project background ever again.
So, does this update truly mean we're at the end of forgetful AI?
Let's kind of zoom out and wrap this up with our final takeaway on what this all really means for us.
So what does this all boil down to? First, it's a real fix for AI amnesia, a solution to that core problem. Second, you get a totally seamless workflow between two really powerful tools. And most importantly, it puts you in control of the AI's knowledge base. The one small catch right now is that the team collaboration and sharing features are still a little clunky. But honestly, we can probably expect Google to iron that out pretty soon.
And that leaves us with a much bigger question. We're clearly shifting away from these disposable one-off chats. We're moving towards building these persistent, curated brains for our AI partners. So the real question isn't just about being more efficient. It's about how this fundamental shift will change the very nature of how we work, how we research, and how we learn. Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.